What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back in. And today we got a very special episode. We're going to talk about Pimp C, celebrate the life of Pimp C, the myth, the man, the legend, Chad Lamont Butler, born on December 29, 1973, in Port Arthur, Texas. One half of UGK, the Underground Kingz, alongside with Bun B, a songwriter, a producer, a singer, a rapper, an executive, a businessman, a OG, triple OG, one of the forefathers of the whole southern region of hip hop. Now, not only just the southern region, don't get it mistaken, they were worldwide, they were nationally known, everybody knew who UGK was. I mean, come on, they were on the Menace to Society soundtrack. It doesn't get more official than that right there. Right or wrong? So, hey, rest in peace, Pimp C, rest in paradise, rest in heaven. You will never be forgotten. That is for sure. You made your mark. You know what I mean? You made an impact in this world, man. The things that Pimp C said, he cared about the people, man. He was like Tupac in a way. He cared about his people, man, and they cared about him, man. The whole Free Pimp C movement, can't forget about that, man. Back in 2002, Bun B started screaming, Free Pimp C, Free Pimp C, and he kept his name out there, man, while Bun B, got to the, he was in his prime, got to the peak of his fame, his success, man. He did great for himself. The Pimp C movement went on for about 3 years till about 2005 when he finally got out. 2005, Pimp C got released from prison, and then it was Free Pimp C. Now, see a pimp free, and he got in the studio and he wrote about it and he talked about it in his music, and he addressed a lot of issues. T.I. and Little Flip, Slim Thug and Zero had problems. Paul Wall, Chameleonaire, a lot of tension going on, and he was able to mend most of those relationships, man. Pimp C did that, man. Knocking Doors Down, featuring Little Kiki in 2005. That was when Houston had the hip hop world, man. Houston had it then, and it was all a part of, UGK was a big part of that. That's when he dropped his second solo album, Pimpilation, in July 11th, 2006. That was a dope album. I loved it. I also loved the Screwed and Chopped version of it. And UGK finally dropped a new project, the Underground Kingz. They finally came out with that. They had international players hooked up with Juicy J and DJ Paul, and it was a wrap. It was history from then. I gotta remember, Pimp C was a great self-promoter. He knew how to promote his group, his album, whatever he had going on, he was going to promote that, man. So, I mean, he let it be known from the jump that he was not fucking around, And it sucks to think, what could have happened, what could have been if Pimp C never passed away, He was on his way to having a huge year. He was gonna have the single success that Bun B was able to have while he was locked up. Pimp C was about to have some huge mainstream success, man. And I mean, he was making his rounds, interviews and things like that. And hey, man, Pimp C was very outspoken, man. You got a lot of information from that guy, man. When he talks, you listen. He definitely has some interesting things to say. You can go listen to the infamous interview he had at a radio station in Atlanta. He sparked a lot of conversation in that one, and a lot of people were behind him and saying that he was speaking facts. A lot of people were, taken back by it, and it didn't look like it was heading in a good direction. It was sparking up a beef between Young Jeezy and Pimp C. And then you already had Little Flip versus T.I. And then you have this Houston versus Atlanta thing that could have, thank God that didn't happen, but that could have been pretty bad. And in that interview, I believe, his biggest gripe was that there was too much fake shit in the industry, too many gimmicks, everybody's lying and they're not making good music. Because at the end he said there was no social commentary. You don't get that out of the records now. You know, even now you don't get that much. And this was what, in '07 he said this, 10 years ago. He said that everything's watered down and it's garbage, and it still is, man. That's why we celebrate Pimp C and UGK, and we celebrate real hip hop, real music, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what brings us together is the music. You know, if it wasn't for music, Pimp C, we never heard of Pimp C, but it was because of music that gave us, you know, the life of Pimp C. And I felt him through his music, man. The story he tells, you know, the man sung all the hooks mostly. You know, he sings the hooks and he writes his raps, and then he makes the beat. The guy was a talent, man. He knew it. He knew what it took, man, to make some hits, and that's what he did, man. They had hit after hit after hit, countless of bangers and songs that made the charts. So just to refresh your memory, I'm gonna give you the songs that are some hits by UGK, starting from earlier years. You got Pocket Full of Stone, Front, Back, and Side to Side, 316s, Diamonds and Wood, One Day, Murder, High Life, Ridin Dirty, Let Me See It, Riding Blades, Wood Wheel, Still Riding Dirty, The Game Belongs to Me, Gravy, Swishers and Doja, International Players, just to name a few. And these are just UGK projects. Pimp C alone has a nice little list as well. Just not counting all the hits that Bun B did, you know, on his solo run, and Pimp C was about to do on his solo run. He already had about 3 hits under his belt. Bun B rejuvenated his career, man, over there. He got with Rap a Lot. He got with J Prince, and they dropped Trill, and then 3 years later, he dropped 2008. He dropped 2 Trill, and then 2010 he drops Trilogy, the Trill OG. He dropped that, and then he had a DJ Drama mixtape, and you know, only the hottest artist of that moment is gonna jump on a DJ Drama mixtape. Remember how DJ Drama was doing it back then. You have to be on top in order to get a Drama mixtape, and Bun B has one, man, and he has another What It Do mixtape, and he has screwed and chopped versions of his albums. And like I said, I'm not even counting those hits and all the features that he jumped on. Every other song is featuring Bun B. You know, everybody wanted Bun B on their song, and he killed it. And I was very happy to see it. That's very satisfying to go back and look at Bun B and how he was able to put his footprint in the rap game. Hey, I remember the Source magazine, right? It used to be good before Benzino tore down the company because of his grudge with Eminem. Well, yeah, that Source. It used to be the go-to magazine. That was the magazines. Like I said, before social media, man, things were different. We had to get a magazine so you can see everything. All the hot artists, you know, and who's whack, who's coming up, who got release dates, if anybody's beefing. Everything was in those magazines, man. And my favorite thing was they used to let you know when the album was coming out. They used to rate the albums, give them 5 mics, 4.5. They even had a section for verse of the month, and they gave that honor to Bun B from the song Murder from the album Ridin Dirty. That was in 1996, man, on the Ridin Dirty album. Remember, they had a bunch of legal problems with their label. They weren't even they were with Jive, man, and I don't know if the contract situation, but they were trying to drop albums left and right, man. That's why it's No Rest of Whitey Pay Me. Pimp C was screaming, you know, talking about Whitey, because he knew, man, he knew that they were getting screwed, man, the record labels, man. He knew that they were getting screwed, and that's why we didn't get that many UGK albums, man. We should have got at least 7, 8, 9, or 10 of them, you know. But the record labels were holding them back, and then, you know, I think they finally, you know, they were on and off with Jive, but I guess they were finally on good terms. They're allowing Bun B, you know, Pimp C to go back out there and rap a lot, you know, let him, you know, put his hands on it and see what he can do. This is before social media, man, before even flip phones, maybe. I'm not sure, man. This is back then, and we didn't have. Although we're like, man, what's going on with UGK, man? When are they dropping an album? What's going on? You know, and then they had a bootleg situation where they had to somebody leaked their album, and everybody had a copy of it, including me. I do apologize. That is a cardinal sin in hip hop, but I had to hear it. I had to get my hands on it, and I got my hands on a cassette. The new UGK album. It was worth the wait. It was an instant classic. I loved it. I went and bought the hard copy of it when it officially came out, and it did have some changes on there from the bootleg that we had. Yeah, UGK, man, it was definitely one of the best groups of all time, and I would have loved to see what would have happened if Pimp C, you know, never got locked up and had to spend almost 4 years in prison. And think of how many, you know, UGK albums that we would have gotten. But hey, everything happens for a reason, right? But like I said earlier, I look at Pimp C like a Tupac, man. He's a mercenary, man. He was a soldier. He was definitely a soldier, man. And he stood on the front line. Pimp was not a follower. He was not going to follow. He's leading. You know what I mean? He's the boss, man. He was following. Yeah, he's the life of the party. He, the active one in the room, the life of the room. You know, he's the one talking. Nah, man. He's a trendsetter, and he knew talent when he heard it. It's the reason that he signed Lil Boosie and Lil Webby to Trill Entertainment. Not sure if that was Pimp C fully behind that, but I know he had his hands in it, and you know, and I honestly feel like that was, you know, that was the boost that Boosie and Webby needed to get to propel their careers. And speaking of the word trill, which is still used now, everyone uses the word trill in hip hop. Who do you think started that? Pimp C and Bun B. They've been saying that since their very first album. People forget that, and they don't pay homage. You have artists like Lil B claiming he started the cooking dance, which you can go on YouTube and find a video of Pimp C way back in the day doing the cooking dance. So all of a sudden there's a curse on James Harden. Lil B becomes famous using James Harden's name because he claims that he started the cooking dance, which he didn't. Pimp C did that a long time ago. Not saying he started it either, but that's neither here nor there. So let me take you back to the year 1999. 1999 was the year Jay-Z dropped Volume 3, Life and Times of Sean Carter. And this was the album that the song Big Pimpin' was on, produced by Timbaland. Bun B wanted to be on that song. Bun B wanted, he was fully behind it. But it was Pimp C who was the one that was hesitant and reluctant, and he kind of didn't want to do it because he figured if he did that, that means that they're selling out, they're going pop, they're going to be mainstream, and Pimp C didn't. He thought he was going to, I don't know, maybe take a hit. His image would take a hit, you know, especially, you know, to his core fan base. He didn't want to turn his back on his core fan base. But, hey, man, like I said, everything happened for a reason. That song came together, and it was the song of the year, no doubt. The video of the year. That was back when they were actually spending over $1 million on rap videos.
And like I said, no rest till Whitey pay me. I was just a little teenager when I was listening to that song, so I always thought he said no resting while they pay me. No resting while they pay me, but nah, it's no rest till Whitey pay me. Now Jay-Z was going to be Jay-Z regardless, but the song Big Pimpin', you can't deny that made such a huge boost. It gave Jay-Z what he needed. I mean, UGK was his favorite rap group growing up, and he got them on the album, which happened to be the best song on the album, and I feel like that song benefited Jay-Z tremendously, and he was able to get a huge chunk of that Houston market, that Texas market, which is one of the biggest markets in the nation. You can be a local Texas artist and make millions of dollars. It's been done. Little Flip, Slim Thug, Zero, Trey, Devin the Dude. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the Houston artists that remained local and didn't want to sign major labels. They wanted to stay independent because of how much money you can make in Texas, which is also a reason that so many artists leech off of the Houston culture. Not saying, I don't want to say leech, but they ride that Houston wave, our terminology, our slang, our culture, everything that we do. They come down here, they fall in love with the city, and then when they go in the studio, they start shouting out Houston, Texas. Countless. I mean, look at Drake. Drake started his career, by showing Houston love.
One time for the homie DJ Screw. Already. I'm feeling throwed in this bitch.
I'm so high even when I'm coming down. Just met a girl, say she from the H-Town.
Y'all remember that, right? November 18th, it was on So Far Gone, the mixtape. It was his version of June 27th. And just in case you don't know, June 27th is a big deal in Houston. It is a national holiday damn near. DJ Screw, Screwed Up Click, I salute y'all, man. R.I.P. DJ Screw, Fat Pat, Big Hawk, Big Mo, Big Steve, Big Mello, 3-2. The Screwed Up Click will live forever. DJ Screw screwed and chopped the entire world. And here's A$AP Rock.
Now we blowing on that H-O. Bozos love my rose gold. Turbo got me slow-mo. Something like I'm Dorothy, but my rubies in my dodo. What you think is fofo? These niggas must be loco. Stepping on these bricks and for your fix, so call me Toto. Follow me now.
I'm about to come down. Got a new Cadillac with a diamond in the back. Got a bitch and she back with about 100 tack. Got my goons on deck and we got 100 stack.
At least they paid homage though, so respect to them for that. And what else did we have? The Double Cup, Lean. Lil Wayne and Drake made Lean popular, if so to speak. They made it nationwide. They had little kids, everybody addicted to sip and drink because they wanted to follow the new trends, not realizing how deadly and addictive that drug is. I mean, there's speculation that Pimp C died of a drug overdose. They say he has sleep apnea, but who knows? I consider Pimp C's death a mystery and a conspiracy. But that's for a later topic. Right now, this is celebrating the life of Pimp C, Chad Butler, and Bun B, and UGK.
Sippin' on some scissor. Sippin' on some real working the wheel. A pimp, not a simp. Keep the dope fiends higher than the Goodyear blimp.
Damn, I love that song. That song came out in the year 2000. Pimp C passed away in 2007. He got locked up in prison in 2003. He had a lot of stuff going on. And Bun B held it down. in the meantime. And you can't say that about a lot of guys. A lot of rappers go to prison and they get forgot about. They get forgotten because there's no one holding them down out there. Bun B and Pimp C were brothers from another mother for real. To piggyback what I was saying earlier about the Free Pimp C movement, Bun B was dedicated to letting the world know who Pimp C was, where he was, who he is, and what he's about. And the younger generation followed Bun B. They followed him, they respected him, they grew up listening to him. They're probably, he's probably their idol, they have tremendous respect for the man. So now you have tons and tons of artists screaming Free Pimp C shirts, Free Pimp C hats, everywhere in Houston, all over videos, everywhere. Bun B was responsible for that. When Pimp C came home, he didn't miss a beat. He had jewelry waiting on him. He has money in the bank account waiting on him. He has foreign cars waiting for him. He had connections, networking, because that's what the guy does. He networks with people and he gets things done. With Bun B by his side, now you got a powerhouse. You got a big two. Forget a big three, man. You don't need a big three. Big UGK was the big three without the third member. Yeah, everybody knows Pimp C wasn't the best rapper. He wasn't the most lyrical one, and he wasn't showcasing his lyrics hardcore. Like around that time, that's when lyricism was really, really popping, and everybody was trying to compete with each other on spitting the best bars. But here's Pimp C laid back. I mean, come on, his name is Pimp C. He's rapping about pimping women, got a gun by his side, driving fancy cars. He's living, I mean, the guy told a story, man. You felt the guy. You understood what he was about. A lot of people in the streets were like that too. I felt like that. I felt like Pimp C more than I did Phil Bun. I feel like Pimp C more than I would, feel Bun. And I'm not afraid to it. I'm not too ashamed to admit, man, but I cried tears, man, when Pimp C died. I cried tears, man. That hurt. That hurt a lot, man. And I found out the news on allhiphop.com. You remember them? All Hip Hop, man, they were popping. All Hip popping. For a long time, I used to jump there daily to get my daily news because this was before Twitter, so I had to get my updates somehow. I'm on the internet, all my HDXX or whatever, so a few other ones, but I heard the news. Pimp C passed away out of nowhere. Like, are you serious? Dude, this is a joke, right? And the first person I thought of was Bun B. He's the first person I thought of, man. I was like, man, I wonder how if I'm crying, I wonder how Bun B's taking this. And we're trying to gather information. I'm a spectator, I'm not an insider, man. I don't got sources and stuff. I am my own source, man. I do my homework. I do research, And I don't know, man. Pimp C deserves to be up there with God right now. I know we just passed up his 10th year anniversary. He died December 4th, 2007. His birthday is coming up on the 29th. I am recording this on Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas to everybody. If you lasted this long and you're listening to me, Merry Christmas. I love you. God bless you. And God bless Mama Pimp, Mama Chad, Mama C. I'm sorry, I can't remember baby girl's name. But yes, Pimp C passed away, and so did his mother. And his death was such a big deal. And, you know, I mean, it was shocking, man. If Twitter was popping back then, he would have been trending for like 2 days, 3 days straight, man. And it would have been crazy, man. Pimp C died way too young. But the good die young so they can get to heaven early. You remember that? I got that from Styles P on that classic album he dropped, A Gangsta and a Gentleman, The Good Die Young. And I remember his funeral was a big deal, man. It was a very big deal. Everybody was there. I kind of find it odd that Jay-Z wasn't there, but whatever. It was a good turnout. Everybody was there. A lot of pictures were taken. Feds were also there. They had police and undercover cops, and they knew. It's like, this is rap a lot and all this, and what you think? Pimp C, Bun B, these guys been rap a lot since day one, almost. They've been down with Jay Prince since forever. So his funeral was a great turnout. No violence, no crazy stuff, but a few people didn't show up that you kind of feel like, oh man, how can he not show up, man? He should have been there, man. You feel like he should have been there. It is what it is. Rest in peace, Pimp C, forever and a day. I wanted to make this video just in time for his birthday, which is coming up this Friday. So if you're going to be out there celebrating the life of Pimp C, celebrating Pimp C's life, and you know, keep his name alive, keep his spirit in the physical form, go out there and turn up. This Friday is December 29th, the day Pimp C was born. We lost him 10 years ago on December 4th. What a devastating blow, man. That was a knockout to the rap game, hip hop. I mean, losing Pimp C is like losing, I don't know, a T.I. If T.I. died, you don't look at it like that. God forbid, you know. But if we're talking about big names, man, like he's the top guy, and he was the OG, and he was the one of the relevant ones. He wasn't the guy that he came out of jail and he's trying to create a buzz again and he's trying to get his name back out there. No, as soon as he stepped out, everybody's like, oh shit, Pimp C's home. It's about to go down. That's what it was like, man. Pimp C was about to start running shit, man. And I believe he would have turned 43 today. I believe he died at 33. So he'd be 43 or I believe 44. So make sure you smoke some, bitch. I already know what I'm talking about. Cause you gonna smell my cologne. It's in Miyake, so ball number 9. Cause I do not play. Church, tabernacle, preach. Sanctuary, could we keep God first in everything that we do? You feel me? And the fight go with that. Talking about some squares. Man, get off the boo-boo. You feel me? It's your boy Motor Mouth, and I holler at you when I smile at you.